Hi, welcome back to Gaming ADD's E3 wrap up. It's over. We made it through the end. I'm here with Dave, who has some thoughts on E3 as well. Dave, what's up?
Hey, if you email me, daveking@gmail.com with the subject line groovy, you'll be entered in a drawing to win my left sock.
Yeah, more on that later. All right, so a couple things happened over the last 2 days. Not a lot. Nintendo Direct was probably one of the most notable things that we saw.
Should have been.
It should have been, but we got a surprise. Nintendo Direct showed off a few games. No hardware, they did not show off any hardware. Well, sorta no hardware. At least not. We got something we didn't expect. No Switch. Lots of re-releases.
Like I said before, I'm happy with no Switch right now. Like, I don't think we need new hardware from them right at this moment. I understand people want it to look a little bit better, but I'm not quite ready to retire my old Switch or move into a world where I have to buy a new Switch to play new games.
That's fair. And if it's like anything that they've done in the past, nobody will utilize the new Switch anyway, as with the new 3DS. So the first thing they showed was Kazuya from Tekken is coming to Smash Brothers. If you're a Smash Brothers aholic, that's probably either good news or bad news for you. Let us know in the comments what you think. But I found that trailer quite impressive.
When they opened the trailer, I thought that they were announcing Ganondorf and Tekken 7. And
that maybe would have been decidedly more exciting.
I was way more excited for that announcement. Because I was like, oh, Ganondorf and Tekken 7. Is Tekken 7 on the Switch? Is this them telling us it's coming to the Switch? I couldn't remember if it was on the Switch or not. And I was like, well, that could be cool. And then they showed the next Smash character, and I was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah, the trailer was good though. I mean, it showed Kazuya throwing a bunch of fools in the lava.
The Kirby moment made me chuckle. Even though I saw it a mile away, I still laughed when it happened. Like, he was walking down there with Kirby. I was like, he's gonna drop Kirby, and Kirby's gonna fly back up.
I like how they
made me laugh.
I like how they showed Kazuya in the trailer fighting Ryu. Like, that's supposed to make it okay. It's another fighting game character in Smash.
I suppose too. This is it's somewhat better than the last announcement where they acted like they were putting out the new Xenoblade Chronicles, or was that the game that the two characters came from?
Like Shulk.
At the end of it, they revealed that it wasn't a new one. They were just coming to Smash.
Oh, right.
I felt bad for anyone who's a fan of that series.
Hey, Nintendo likes to play fast and loose with Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But I'd say that all in all, I think that the highlight of that announcement was, in fact, the trailer. That's the most thing I wanted to mention about it, personally.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, he looks like a fun character to play in Smash, but like, are people still playing Smash?
I think the hardcore ones.
Yeah, like I haven't played Smash in a year, probably, at least.
Yeah, I went through like half of the main adventure, and then I didn't have anybody to play with, so I moved on to other games.
Yeah, I get the hardcore people out there. Are the hardcore people out there calling for Kazuya?
No, probably not. They probably want a Nintendo property, honestly.
And like, his skill set looked awesome. You know?
In fact, he's not even the funnest Tekken player to play. But I digress.
Yeah.
And then they showed a couple other games at the conference. They showed a Worms Rumbles coming to Switch, which I thought was funny because we enjoyed it last year playing a 3-player Battle Royale, but it died and you can't find a game on PlayStation. So what's that going to mean to the Switch? Just, I guess, beware.
Yeah, I was really shocked to see them announce it. Because, like you said, we had fun with it, but like, it was what, a month into it, and we couldn't find a game.
Yeah, and that was after it was given away for free on the PlayStation.
Right. So this announcement felt like it was out of nowhere and very displaced. As fun as that game is, and hopefully, maybe it finds a market on the Switch it didn't find on the PlayStation.
Yeah, a lot more portability might get people to jump in and play a couple matches. I don't know. It remains to be seen.
Yeah.
All right, here's my favorite new announcement game-wise of the Nintendo Direct. Monkey Ball Banana Mania. All right. I love Monkey Ball. It's been my favorite.
We spent a ton of time playing Monkey Ball when we were younger.
And then I never played Banana Blitz. They just released a couple years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, re-released it on the Switch from the Wii. I bought that thing day one and was pissed. I was pissed because those mini games were not my Monkey Ball. And now 1 and 2, which is my Monkey Ball, is coming remastered.
Hashtag not my Monkey Ball.
So yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see those mini games. I don't care about the story. I don't care about anything. I care about those mini games that exist in 1 and 2. I mean, you roll down some hills. Well, actually, fun fact: in the original Monkey Ball 1 and 2, you actually tilted the world, which then, by gravity, rolled the ball. Right. And somewhere along the way, they changed it so you were moving the monkey, and I think that's when Monkey Ball started to suck. I don't know what point that happened, but it feels bad now, and I hope that Monkey Ball 1 and 2 retain that same good feel.
So many hours in those two games.
Yeah, that was couch co-op at its finest.
With the target mode. Whew.
Yep, monkey target, monkey golf, and monkey bowling before the Wii Sports was a thing.
Man.
Monkey baseball was even fun, one of those like arcade baseball games.
If this can bring back 50% of the nostalgia I have for that series, I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's a day one purchase for me. No joke.
I don't know that it's going to be day one, but is it a full game price point?
I think it's a $60 game, but it does have Monkey Ball 1, 2. It has all the Monkey Balls, so I only care about 1 and 2, though. As far as I know, it's all of the Monkey Balls. I made a list somewhere. Where is it? Deluxe 1, 2, Deluxe Touch and Roll Adventure, Banana Blitz, Step and Roll 3D, Banana Blitz HD, which is the sucky one. Actually, the last half of that list is probably terrible. But 1 and 2 is where it's at.
Yeah, it's always going to be where it's at.
And I think they know that. They're just like, here, let's just throw these games in here too, so we can call it $60.
Probably.
Nintendo. Then they showed off a Mario Party remaster, which has a lot of Mario Parties from the 64 era remastered, all online, party games redone. Lots of remastering in this thing, this press conference.
This one kind of threw me for a loop too. Like, because didn't they just put out a huge Mario Party update with like a ton of new games? And they added
online play to the Super Mario Party, which nobody really asked for also. So, and very late in the pandemic, so that was an odd thing. And then now they're like, hey, this might do well as well. So let's just do it. It seems to me like a lot of Nintendo's strategy was that with this is just like, we can't really develop new games because we're constricted with COVID. So let's just remaster old stuff.
It felt to me like something that they were working on to try and get out in time for Mario's 35th anniversary, and they just didn't get there. And they were just like, well, just push it back and we'll put it out later.
Yeah, that might be I'd like to see behind the scenes to really see what's going on over there.
Because it seems like they've been hit really hard by delays, because of COVID.
Yeah, and they're more strict over there with development in Japan.
Yeah. So I wonder if there was something where this was supposed to be a part of the Mario 35th anniversary and it just didn't get done in time.
It's quite possible. They did throw us for a loop with announcing a brand new Metroid game. Everybody expected Metroid Prime 4, but instead they showed Metroid 5, titled Metroid Dread. I am a personal fan. Go ahead.
I'll take any Metroid I can get.
There you go.
Like,
I'm a personal fan
And-
of the side-scrolling ones over the Prime ones, so this tickled my fancy.
I agree with that, actually. I mean, Super Metroid is still like a top 10 game for me. I still go back and play
Yeah.
it like once a year. And I love that remake of Metroid 2 that they did on the 3DS.
I never played that.
It's really good. It was really good.
And let's see, Metroid 3 would be Super Metroid, Metroid 2, Super Metroid, and then Fusion is 4? Technically in the lineage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a side scroller. It looks awesome. They got this creepy robot that stalks you, kind of like a Resident Evil game.
Mm-hmm.
That looks cool, though.
Did you, since you didn't play 2, have you seen the parry mechanic that they put in 2? That they showed in this game?
No, I saw in this game the trailer, but I didn't know that was in 2.
Yeah, no, they first put that in that remake of 2, where you like do the melee attack and it stuns them, and it gives you, I think, health, or maybe it's like a energy of some kind. But yeah, gives you an opening. It's really handy, actually. It's a really nice addition to the game. It really makes it feel more balanced and gives you more options when they get in close to you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I wonder, this game moves up really fast. I can't tell by the trailer that they were showing if it's going to run in 60 frames or not, and I don't know if they made any points on that later in the show, but it moves fast, and that's good.
Even if Nintendo said it was going to run at 60 frames, I wouldn't trust them until it was out.
Right. And that Switch sometimes cannot do what you think it can.
Yeah, because they've multiple times said that things will run fine on the Switch, and then had to come back on that. Because then they say they were going to run Doom at 60 frames before it came out, and that it wasn't anywhere close.
And that kept me from playing Doom on the Switch.
Yeah,
it's like we stated in the previous video, more frames in Doom equals good Doom.
I played my Doom at 3 frames per second.
Let's see. Mario Golf Super Rush. We've seen this. They've showed it for a while. But they didn't really show anything new, except I noticed, I don't know if this was announced before, but I noticed that you could you were running around in an open world with Mario.
Yeah, I don't think they'd announced that before. And that speed golf mode where you just go.
Yeah, and then you run up to the boom.
And I wonder how much interfering with your opponents you can do, because in the video they showed bumping into each other and that kind of pushing you back a little bit. But I wonder if there's some kind of mayhem you can cause to slow other people down.
Hey, Mario Golf is good. So me want golf, me take golf.
If I can combine it with Mario Kart, and I can jump in a golf cart and throw shells at you.
Yeah.
While you're trying to putt.
That's the best part of golf. And remember my 18th birthday? Were you there for that? Okay.
No, I heard stories.
It was fun. Monster Hunter Stories. They showed that again. It's been probably 2 or 3 times throughout this press conference.
I think 3, but I'm not 100%. I know for sure it was in the Capcom section of the show.
Yeah. I don't prefer that art style to the Monster Hunter main series art style, but I love RPGs, so I think I'll take the RPG. I find it hard to play Monster Hunter on the Switch in my bed because it's so claw handy, even with the Hori Pad Pro actual controllers on the side, that I think I would rather play an RPG on the Switch personally. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten into any of the Monster Hunter games, although they've been on my list forever, and I buy them when they're on sale, and then I just never play them. So maybe some point I'll get into one. Maybe this will be the one. Maybe not.
Remains to be seen. WarioWare Get It Together was announced. I like the WarioWare series, only when I'm playing with people. I don't play them by myself, but what they showed in here was actually a 2-player co-op mode where you control 2 people in the micro game at the same time. So I thought that was pretty nice evolution of the series.
Yeah, and WarioWare, not as much as Metroid, but I will always take a new WarioWare.
Yeah.
I will always be excited to play more WarioWare.
Yeah, I always enjoy seeing what crazy things they come up with.
Yeah. And
And
I
in
didn't even
today's
know you could play it single player. So
they
there's
made a
that.
release they released something with like all the mini games just like piled in that you could just play by yourself. I don't remember what it was. I touched it for a while. It might
Well,
have been touched.
hmm,
But any in a world where everybody's so ADHD and has to switch from everything, like the WarioWare
right.
is set for a comeback. This is perfect for today's digital age. I'm loving it. Then the
We say
next
that, but it was perfect for us when it first came out too. So it's not like anything's changed. You
That's
know,
true.
like like that game. I love it.
Next thing they showed was Shin Megami Tensei 5. I didn't get the subtitle on that. Wasn't there a...
I didn't catch it either, honestly.
Oh. It's out 11/12/21, which is great, especially if you're a fan of the series. I'm a fan of Persona, and I'm understanding that this is like Persona adjacent or Persona split off of Shin Megami Tensei. Do you know anything about that?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Persona started as like a side story, and then it kind of took on its own
Persona.
thing. Yeah, actually, Persona in general is regarded as a little bit easier.
Hmm.
And
And
Shin
I think
Megami Tensei has always had the combat screen is like from a first person's perspective. You don't really see your characters.
gotcha. And I think that Persona deals more with like the high school stuff, the day-to-day stuff than this does, right? Or
This Shin Megami Tensei has had some pretty dark tones in it too, and usually you're playing a teenager who is mad at society. It has a lot of the same tones. It's usually a little bit darker than Persona is actually.
And maybe less of
Uh,
the let me go level up my reading
yeah,
kind of stuff. Okay.
yeah, not so much social aspects.
I don't know, maybe that's something I'll check out. I haven't played any one of those. I just played 4 and 5 at Persona, so relatively new to that series.
Yeah.
I just noticed in here that like this personas are the same, the monsters are the same, but it looks like
Yeah.
you control these more directly than in Persona, whereas like so personas are like a special attack. These seem like party members of some sort. I don't know. I'm just
Unless
gleaning
they,
everything from this
I,
trailer.
I don't, I didn't, I saw the trailer, but I can't remember it right now.
Well, it still got that gotta catch them all factor.
Typically, it's very similar to Persona in that regard, where your main character is like a jack of all trades, and then you have some other people who have specific personas.
Gotcha. Okay. Next was Danganronpa Decadence, which was a remaster collection. Is it remastered or is it just the collection of the previous games? I think it's
Good question.
touched up
I
somewhere.
assume it's remastered because the first one just came out on the Vita. So I would assume there's something that they would need to do to make that look a little bit more modern.
Yeah, I think at one point they said all 5 games and that splash screen at the end they showed 4. So I'm confused as to whether this is a 4 game package or a 5 game package. What happened to number 4? It didn't show.
4 has not come out.
Oh, okay. Okay, but 5
So
did?
there's 3, no. There's no 5 either.
Wait.
There's 3 main lines, and then there's like a side story called Ultimate Despair Girls or something like that. Ultra Despair Girls.
Okay.
But I don't think that's in here actually.
All right,
but the thing that they were talking about is when you beat 2, you unlock an RPG mini game, or maybe it's 3. Either way, in one of them, when you beat them, you unlock like an RPG mini game. And they said that they made a full game out of that for you to play. So.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. Forgive my ignorance.
That's like the one thing
fans.
that's going to be in it that wasn't in the other versions.
Gotcha. Either way, it looks cool. It kind of has like a Phoenix Wright type, like trying to figure out who the guilty person is, at least in the first one.
So they all three have very similar plots. The idea is 15 students trapped in a school. Each student is like the ultimate version of something, like the best baseball player around, the best doctor, the best detective, or the best young musician. They get trapped inside of a school, and then they're told in order to get out, you have to murder someone and not get caught.
Oh.
You have to murder one of the other students and not get caught. So
you're selling me on this?
Yeah. So what happens is you'll play for a little bit, someone will get murdered, and then you have to figure out who murdered them, because the other stipulation is in order to escape, you have to murder someone and get away with it. And if someone escapes, all the other students die.
Oh, geez.
So it's kind of like your life is on the line. You have to make sure you catch the right person. You have to,
and then you have to kill everybody else, essentially, by leaving, right?
Well, you never actually become the murderer. You're always on the good side of things.
Oh, okay. Well, that's lighthearted enough for me.
But yeah, then you get into the trial portion of it, which is very similar to Phoenix Wright, where you're making counterpoints and you're refuting people's arguments, and you're trying to figure out who the real culprit is. And
yeah, I about pulled the trigger on this for the Vita about 6 times when I saw it on sale. Maybe I will actually finally pick them up in all one package.
I really like these games. They're dark in the right ways, but the story's really good. It's really well written. The gameplay is actually quite fun. If you're into those Ace Attorney games, but you want a little bit darker version of it, this is great.
Excellent.
And having all three in one place. If I hadn't played them all three already, I would get this.
There you go. Ringing endorsement from the one Dave. The next thing they showed was Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater. It was a re-release of a Wii game that maybe not a lot of you played. I did not play this.
I thought it was a Wii U game.
Wii U game, yes. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I forgot a letter in my show notes. Just add that right here. Okay.
Yeah, the Wii U was this weird moment in space for me where I just didn't get it. And so it's always nice for me. Like, I wish they would bring every Wii U game to the Switch.
Yeah, it would be a good thing to release them just so more people had their hands on them.
Right, and granted, there's not that many great Wii U games anyway, so it's not like I'm missing a ton of stuff.
Right.
But I'd like to get access to the stuff that I missed.
See, I had a Wii U.
And buy a Wii U.
I had a Wii U. It was the nice special edition Zelda one where the tablet had the inlays of the Zelda in it, and then it was stolen by a crackhead. So,
well, that's not where you want to be.
Bad times.
Yeah, sounds like it.
All right, then they talked about Doom Eternal getting the Ancient Gods Part 1 expansion to the Switch. That is not the most ideal place to play Doom, and they're giving you the expansion for a cost, which all the other consoles have. So it's on Game Pass,
right?
Just a hint. And then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is also getting ported over there. That comes out $625. Strange Brigade, a game from a couple years ago where you're 4-player co-op horde mode. I played it. It was not that good, but it's getting a port here, so maybe it'll find a new home.
Yeah, I will say this about the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. If you had told me when I was a teenager that I would be able to play a better looking version of that game on the go, I would have signed up at the moment. I'd have been like, yeah, okay. Here.
Hey, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Advance is a good game.
Because that game looks and plays amazing already, and if I can play it anywhere, it's even better.
Yeah, if you're like waiting at the doctor's office or whatever you do outside of your house.
Why is your implication that I'm always going to the doctor? You think I'm unhealthy or something?
No, I mean that's just where I'd play it. I don't know. I never go to the doctor though, so. They showed some more Mario and Rabbids. Not too much more than what we saw at the Ubisoft conference, but what they did show is some gameplay. The biggest thing about the gameplay is before you played on grids in the first one, and here you have a area that you can run when you take your turn. So that's going to change everything.
I am always infinitely more stressed out when there is not a grid.
You feel like XCOM? Because it's like you have X amount of line you can move before it's done.
Right. Yeah. If there's a grid, I always feel like I know where I'm going. But like when I get into the you have this line that you can travel, the amount of distance you can travel, you have that whole circle you can move in. I always feel like I have to find the perfect spot.
Oh,
and I'm like, do I need to move half a centimeter to the left?
Well, and when you have the grid, you can say my character can move 5 spaces. So you know how far they can move before your turn. So when you have the circle, you're like, is this going to be enough next turn to reach the guy? Yeah, right. I get what you're saying.
And it also, I feel like it's easier to keep track of how far the enemies can get to and how close they can get to me than it is with the just circle. But I will still play this game.
Yeah, the first one was a banger.
Yeah.
Another exciting bit that they showed, a remaster, but it is quite possibly a very welcome remaster. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp.
Yeah. I love Advance Wars.
What else can you say?
I mean, those were Advance Wars is better.
Yeah, those are two of the greatest tactical games. What are they called? Turn-based RPG? What do we want to call that?
Tactical RPG works for me.
Yeah, the tactical RPGs of all time. And they're remastering it, and I can play it again without pulling out my old hardware that does the batteries swollen and won't hold a charge. So I'm looking forward to it.
This is another one from Nintendo where they get my hopes up and then they let me down. It was like I saw the Advance Wars stuff, the trimmings. They started, like, I heard someone, I think they started off with like an audio clip about Orange Star or something, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
are they making a new Advance Wars?
Nope, we're remastering an old one.
And then they're like, we're remastering those ones you've already played, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I'll take it, but you could have given me a new one.
Yeah,
you obviously just built a new engine for it with new graphics and everything. Just make a new game too.
Which I must say, I do not like the graphics as much as the.
No, I prefer the pixel sprites for this game. I don't think the graphics are bad. I just don't think they're as good as the pixels look.
I don't really like the everything's round and like. I don't know that I like that. If you're a fan of the old Advance Wars and saw this, let us know what you think of the new art style. I'd be interesting to take a poll on that.
Yeah, I'm curious where everybody else falls on it, because it's not like they're bad looking graphics. I just prefer the other style.
It's like when they did the remake of Secret of Mana. Like, I hate that art style that they did. I cannot stand it. I'd rather you just do sprites and give me low res crap.
Well, there's a lot more problems with that remake of Secret of Mana too.
Right.
Than just the characters don't look as good.
I didn't even play it because I couldn't even stand, or any Final Fantasy game. I'm so mad. Any Final Fantasy game that the characters have no feet, like, I can't stand that art style.
Oh, no feet.
All right, and then they closed the show out with a whole block of Zelda, which they teased throughout the whole thing. They decided, okay, we're gonna show the Zelda stuff, and then you think, okay, here it is, Breath of the Wild, and then they showed Skyward Sword, which
yeah, with at this point you just expect it from them, right? Like, they tried to pull the rug out from under you so many times this show that it was just like,
yeah,
when the final thing, and then they showed the Game and Watch thing, It was like, come on, we know you're not ended on that.
Right. We know and we know it's coming. So with the Skyward Sword, my big question is the first section when you're in the sky going to be like 10 hours again? Or are they paring that down? Are they cutting it like they did when they remastered Wind Waker and they cut the Triforce quest down, the map stuff? Or are they going to cut that down and let us get down on the ground and do some dungeons and good stuff? Or we still got to slog through that 10-hour block? That'd be my big question. Other than that, I would play Skyward Sword again. I'll probably wait for it to get on one of Nintendo's rare sales where it's like $41.99 or whatever. But
yeah, I actually never played Skyward Sword, so I'm actually looking forward to this release.
I'm looking forward to playing it without the Wiimote controls because like they were good, but
I look forward to playing anything without a Wiimote.
It was cool when you had to like control the bombs with like the bomb shoes with like guiding them with the Wiimote, but like sometimes you just want to sit down and relax and play a game, and I did not want to sit up every 3 seconds to bowl a bomb down a hill. Like I just didn't want to do it. So if they can transmit that into a controller without all that junk, then it's probably going to be a better game for it.
The Wii is actually, I think, one of my least favorite consoles ever made.
Yeah,
like love the games for it, but that Wiimote is so inaccurate. Even when you got the Plus and you got the slightly more accurate version, it was still so many inputs misinterpreted all of the time in every game.
Yeah, and Red Steel wasn't what it was supposed to be.
And so it always resulted in me being like, all right, I'm going to go play a different console. So many good games on there, and so much of it I didn't play.
Speaking of a different console, they did announce The Legend of Zelda Game & Watch. All right, hear me out. It's a handheld a la the very old Game & Watch with Zelda's 1, Zelda 2, and Link's Awakening. Boom, perfect package. Call it a day. I have it pre-ordered. It's done.
Boom, perfect package?
Yeah, just put those 3 games in a little tiny thing I can pull in my pocket. I mean, I got the Mario one. It's pretty cool. This one is a lot better.
The Zelda 2 one, I didn't notice. Is it the American Zelda 2 that's the side-scroller?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Zelda.
Right.
Link's. Damn it.
Link's Awakening is.
Link's Adventure Link or Link's Adventure's Link. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm not a Zelda nerd. I mean, I am, but man, I'm just blanking on that subtitle. On it has a playable clock, which was not featured in the Mario Game & Watch. You can actually run around and play Zelda 1 on the clock. Yeah. And it has a timer this time, which was not on the Mario one. Plus, you can play Zelda 2 while you're waiting for your timer to go off. I'm telling you, they made a perfect package more perfect. That's what she said.
That first Zelda, and primarily, is one of those games that I always think, I played it a lot as a kid, and I always randomly get nostalgic for it, and I'm like, I'm going to go back and play that again, and I get like 10 minutes into it. I'm like, all right.
But what if you had it in your pocket?
That's why I don't play this again.
What if you had it in your pocket?
I have a phone in my pocket.
Yeah, you got to go through all the emulator hoops. Look at that thing.
Not sure what you have in your pocket, but
the perfect package. Look at it. It's awesome. All right, so Breath of the Wild 2 was next. They did talk about it more. Although, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm not sold. They definitely didn't show enough. They showed some cool-ish new abilities, but it looks like more Breath of the Wild 1, and if that's what you're looking for, that's great. But if you spent too much time in Breath of the Wild 1 and you're burnt out on it, you're probably not interested.
I'm kind of like the latter run. It's like I spent so much time in Breath of the Wild 1, and I was like spent most of my time amazed at everything that I just organically discovered. Yeah. I don't know that they can recapture this magic with the new one. Again, like I'm already going to know that if you put the sword on your back, it's going to melt the big ice cube. You know, the fire sword on your back. I don't know that there's much to discover here. Like you were saying earlier about Fallout Syndrome. What was it about Fallout Syndrome? I thought that was a great point.
When I went from Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, I put like 300 hours into Fallout 3 and I loved it. And when they announced Fallout 4 and it looked like more Fallout 3, I thought I was ready to go. I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. And then I got Fallout 4 and I started playing it and I was like, this is just more Fallout 3. And I didn't feel as pumped about it as I did just because I was so fatigued from all the time that I had spent in Fallout 3. It doesn't make Fallout 4 a bad game. It just makes it something where, like, I've done it so much I didn't feel like doing it again.
Yep, they didn't add enough to. I mean, they added in Fallout 4. They added like base building and like all this other stuff, but it was at the core. It was like more of that, 300 hours you just played, which is what I'm kind of feeling with Breath of the Wild. So, unless they do something drastic that they maybe are keeping up their sleeve, I'm gonna play it. Let's be honest, but I'm maybe not as excited as some people maybe are. I know,
feel
controversial,
like
but
one of those games where I say I'm gonna play it, and I buy it at some point, probably on sale.
Yeah,
and I spend 12 hours playing it, and I fall off of it.
I hope that's not the case. I did see a couple things in the trailer that they didn't like explain because it was just a trailer. Maybe they did in the later coverage, but it was a rewind time power. I don't think that was in the first one. I know you could stop it, but rewinding, and then you could go through solid objects. They showed Link like grasping on a rock and then going through the rock and appearing up on top. So
yeah, it almost looked like he turned into like a liquid or something.
Yeah, and then went through, and his arm looked like it was corrupted. I don't know.
It's possible. I mean,
No.
They can do some interesting things with it. They need to iterate on that main formula enough to keep me interested.
Yeah, like make something with the sky map, because I guess there's a whole new map above the world.
That does look really cool. I will say that.
Do something there where it kind of changes the game. Changes the rules that you learned on the ground. Do something up there that you have to rediscover, like a mechanic.
It's just gonna be Sky Wind Waker.
Oh no! Just float around from island to island. Oh no! Hey, I liked Wind Waker. It's one of my favorite Zeldas.
I did everything you can do in Wind Waker for some awful reason. I guess I felt like punishing myself.
All right, so my history with Wind Waker, I actually have never beat it. I got stuck on the original GameCube with the Triforce Quest, and I was excited to get the Wii U I mentioned earlier because it came with the Zelda HD, the Wind Waker HD, and it was on the cool Zelda tablet, and then that crackhead stole it. So I never got to beat the Wind Waker.
I actually think my completed Wind Waker save was on your game because I did not have a GameCube. So
that's probably.
I know I played someone else's copy of it.
The memory card's probably kicking around in a box somewhere around here. Maybe I'll just pick it up and start the Triforce Quest. See if I got an old save. Okay, so that concluded the Nintendo conference, really. There's a couple other games we didn't talk about on there, but most of it was just, like I said, remasters. The stuff they showed new was exciting. I did dig Metroid and the Zelda Game & Watch. WarioWare. I think that was the new stuff. Give them a
C.
Probably, yeah. Overall, about a C.
Perfectly average conference with a couple exciting announcements.
Yep. Fair grade. You heard it here. Gaming ADD's grade of the Nintendo 2021 E3 press conference is a C. But what I don't give a C is this hot puppy right here. Intellivision Amico's conference. And oh my God, like what was going on? Who let this man on camera? It was like
from the very beginning, I could not figure out what their goal was. Can we put Tommy Tallarico out there to talk about his Guinness Book World Record? Yeah, let's do that. Let's start off with that.
Let's do that.
Cool, yeah.
All right.
Got a Guinness Book World Record.
And it was
Why is
almost
that
like,
relevant? Why'd we start with that?
and it was almost like, hey, can you write a script? Yeah, sure. What experience you have? I don't know. I messed around in Word one time, and then let that person write this script. Everything he said was like an aside. It was like, yeah, you feel it rumble. That's because we have haptic, and that's because da 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 and da da da, and then down this like whole of entire asides. I couldn't keep straight what point he was trying to make half the time, but it was like fantastically like ridiculous.
Yeah, every time he made a point, I felt like, uh, who is this for? Like, what is this? Why am I with? Why are you making this? Um, like at the very first, I think one of the early things he says, every game is going to have a co-op component. Why?
Yeah. I mean, I
Dude,
know I want it, but
every
am I actually
game
going to use it?
has to have co-op. Why would you force a developer to, like, you're going to tell developers they can't put stuff out on your platform unless they jam a co-op mode into it? That's insanity.
Right. So who's going to want to develop for this? I don't know, but they have over 600 years of experience for their developers, he said. Which is weird because they happened at the same time and some of those people's work together. So it's like, it's like, where are you getting these numbers? You just add up, oh, I've worked for 35, I've worked for 25, so that's 40, or 60. Yeah.
And then all the... I understand they probably just have different colors of this thing available, but in your announcement video, you probably don't want to show it multiple times in different colors without mentioning that at some point.
Yeah, because I was completely confused. I thought it was $300, but it turns out it's $249 for the base, and then you have wild colors that are exclusive to different retailers that are $300.
Yeah, but like even in the video, like it threw me off at first because they showed it as white, and then they showed two really poorly photoshopped images of people holding. I don't know what they were actually holding, but they weren't holding controllers. They were just photoshopped in very poorly afterwards.
Yeah, with no mention of different colors.
And then they showed someone playing with it, and it's like brown. And I was like, are these videos from like different points in the conception of this thing? Did they not have enough budget to make one
wouldn't surprise
cohesive video? And then once I started looking up, I was like, okay, there's just different colors. But tell me
what's weird is that I'm bashing this thing so hard, but I'm not sure if I want this thing or not. Do I want it? I might want it. I don't know.
Do you plan on having any raves at your house anytime soon? Because then you could just turn on that multicolored mode and leave it in your living room, and people will just stare at it all night.
Well, one of the things that I thought was cool, and I'll preface that, you can take your controller and just dock it in somebody else's system, and then all your games go with it. 2 questions. Who's going to have a friend with an Amico? And then who the hell wants to go over to somebody's house to play games anymore? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Are there going to be that many good games that they're not already going to own it? My bet is that they're going to be the 5 games that come on it are going to be the games that everybody plays. And then there's not really much else.
Yeah, and then like the game announcements that they had there, like, the 12 best Atari games, and I'm like, what?
Remastered with new graphics.
Yeah, is there really someone out there who wants to play Asteroid again? Like, is there someone pining for that experience somewhere? Because I don't know anyone who wants to go back to that.
Yeah, I mean, I like playing some Breakout every once in a while, but that's just me. But I don't need to spend $250 to do that.
Right.
It's just baffling. This product is just baffling. And then when you're talking...
They jump out there with these selling points, too, that just don't seem to... they're like, and just so you know, there'll be no loot boxes and no paid DLC and no this and that. And you're like, you realize people like those things, right?
It's
like,
an option for people.
Exist.
And you're cutting out all the options.
People buy them because they like them. Like, really, all you're doing is giving me less options than other places are.
It's like this game was made... Go for
there's
it.
like this kind of like the older gamer is still very opposed to that.
Mhm.
So, well, when I was a kid, I paid $60 for the game and it came with everything.
But I don't know
It's
that
not like
that's
that anymore.
right, and I don't even know that that's like a valid point to make. It's almost like they're trying to sell it to the quote unquote older gamer, but
Yeah.
also trying to pitch it to the younger people too. And it's just, it's all over the place, but fantastically so, I have to say. Uh,
Uh, and let's be honest, their controller looks like a Zune.
it does.
Like,
It's got the little wheel.
who wants to play games with a Zune?
Yeah, and there's a couple things I'm worried about with that controller. So they showed rolling the dice on the controller and then throwing it at the screen, like as you're spilling it out of a cup. But that delay that they showed in the video was like about a second. That's too long of a delay. Like that really limits what you can like do creatively with that controller with the delay that long.
It's not too long of a delay if nobody's playing it.
That's true. Or you just want to play your Intellivision games and call it a day. I mean, like $250, you can almost buy a Switch, and you could buy a Switch Lite for less. And
right, nothing that they showed that used the motion controls really seemed all that dependent on the delay. Like, is it going to make a difference in my gameplay if it takes the dice half a second to roll onto the screen?
Yeah, that's true. But it will limit it to dice rolling games or,
Spades.
Spades.
I wanted to spend $250 to play Spades.
To hide your cards. Yeah. I mean, at least with like Atari VCS just came out. It's in stores right now and it's $400, but it actually has value. This is just like with the VCS, you can turn it into an emulation machine. It's actually a pretty competent emulation machine, like built right in. And this, you're relying on people to develop games for it, which will probably last, I don't know, maybe a year before it's kind of dead in the water like the Ouya. I don't know, man.
And one of the other, they talked about the directional pad. They're like, oh, the average directional pad only has 8 directions. I'm like, yeah, but we use analog sticks now.
Well, and that's because when you try to put too many directions in, the thing sucks. So they stay with the 4 cardinals that you can push to make the 8.
And he's like, we have 64. And I was like, you also have a giant circle that is going to be
hard to control.
Has to play any kind of platforming game in.
Yep. They tried to bill it as it was like a good thing, but it remains to be seen. I'll hold some judgment if I decide to purchase it, but likely it will not be in my house.
I'm not going to hold judgment.
Unless I will take it because I'm going to do this thing. So they showed on the end, if you email...
I was going to ask, have you emailed Cal at Intellivision.com yet?
Not yet. I forgot. But I'm going to as soon as we're done here. Send Cal with the subject line, groovy, to Intellivision's email. You can win one of 3 signed consoles signed by all the developers, which...
It's not a console.
It's not a console?
No, it's a piece of art. Earthworm Jim art.
Oh, is it? Wait, so I don't even get the console?
No, you get Earthworm Jim art.
Oh, that's a letdown.
Yeah.
He bamboozled me.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Earthworm Jim, and I'm excited they're making a new one. And I'm not going to spend $250 to play Earthworm Jim.
No, I'll just not pirate it.
I'd also prefer it if they didn't show some co-op mode into Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, they probably will. You'll probably play as one person. One person plays as the body.
On their console.
Is it one person plays as the body and one person plays as the worm?
Every game has co-op.
Yeah, I guess. That's, I don't know. They have haptic, by the way.
Yeah. Just remember, amico is Italian for friend.
Yeah. Because we want to emulate the success of the Wii or something. I don't know. It just sounds baffling, but fantastic.
my absolute favorite thing was right after they said the no DLC thing, no paid DLC. They're like, but what we do have is worldwide leaderboards, and if you ever end the month at the top of them, we're going to email you an award that you could print out and hang in your living room. And that's what I've always wanted, is someone to send me an award to my email to print out and hang in my living room that I had the top score in Asteroid for the month in the United States.
Something
That's
that we
a dream
definitely
come true.
can't Photoshop and hang on our wall.
Right.
Wild, dude. Wild.
Yeah, when they said that part, I was like, is that what?
Man.
Not everybody has all their Guinness records framed and hung up on their desk there. Tom Tallarico. Chill out a little bit.
I'm straddling the line between never put him on stage again and put him in every stage.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
All right, moving on.
It was a delightful train wreck.
Yes. A+. Capcom.
Moment of the year. Groovy.
Groovy. Capcom showed some stuff that they showed elsewhere. I don't know. Sure.
According to who?
Yeah, they announced some DLC for Resident Evil Village. I did not watch it because I haven't played Village yet. Look for that later. And
I don't think they showed any of the DLC.
Oh, they did? They announced something.
They announced it, but I think while they were announcing it, they were just showing gameplay from the base game.
Oh. And then they announced a DLC roadmap for Monster Hunter Rise, which is cool. So that was the two big things. And then they showed off a little bit more of the Great Ace. Well, they showed off Great Ace Chronicles, which also was somewhere else, or no? Anyway.
Yeah, it might have been in the Switch announcement.
Gotcha. Well, it's what you know and love about Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, but in Old English, starring somebody named Herlock Sholmes, or featuring somebody named Herlock Sholmes. Like you don't know what they're ripping off there, I guess. They thought they were clever. Oh, it looks good. I mean, the Phoenix Wright games are always good.
Yeah. I play a lot of them. They're solid games. It looks good. These are older, actually, than the Phoenix Wright games, right?
The Great Ace Attorney games?
I think because I think they've been out in Japan for a while, and they're like just coming to the States. I thought they might have been even before Ace Attorney, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not up to date on that kind of stuff.
Like maybe Phoenix was like hey, we'll give you an Americanized version of our Great Ace series.
Well, no, I think that came out in Japan too. I think it was like I think he's supposed to be his ancestor. Phoenix Wright's supposed to be this guy's ancestor.
Oh, gotcha. I do like how they showed, like, as you start objecting and convincing it, the jury scales like tip. I thought that was cool. But we'll see about that game.
Had some interesting characters in it. So, let's see. Oh no, it came out after Ace Attorney. It came out. Its initial release date in Japan was 2015.
Oh, okay. So a continuation.
Yeah, but it's just his ancestor story of his great grandfather.
All right, so that wraps up our coverage. What did we think of this showing? Well, okay, let me ask you this question. Is the Xbox press conference better or worse than the Intellivision Amico presentation?
It's a tough call, man.
Because as we stated before, the Xbox was the best presentation on our previous video. For obvious reasons.
honestly, at this point, if you ask me, Xbox was the only presentation this weekend. Xbox in Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
And Ubisoft had some interesting stuff in the middle. And then we had the Amico. I feel like the Amico presentation entertained me more, and like I got more laughs out of it. But I definitely enjoyed the Xbox presentation more, and the stuff that came out of it, and the thoughts, and that news,
the excitement of actually playing games, right?
Yeah, it's the first time yet that I've thought about buying the Series X. Because up until that press conference, I was not excited about anything that was a Series X exclusive, or that I was not going to be able to play on my Xbox One.
Right. That was like the turning point for, okay, time to buy one.
Yeah, because like the PlayStation 5, I had Spider-Man and now Ratchet and Clank. And the Xbox Series X, I was just like, well, eventually Halo Infinite will be there. But
I'm not sure they've released a sole Series X game. I mean, they've been like, Microsoft hasn't released a game on it yet, right?
Correct. So there is the Medium is the only current Series X exclusive.
Oh, okay. But it's not made by Microsoft, I think.
Bloober Team.
Is that a Microsoft? They bought so many, I can't remember. I can't keep up.
No, they are not owned by Microsoft.
Because I thought I saw it was announced for PS5. The exclusivity is going to run out.
That's a possibility.
Point. Yeah, I thought I saw that. Yeah. So yeah, it's exciting time for Xbox. Exciting time for Intellivision Amico fans. I think what got me about that thing is like, Tommy Tallarico is so dead serious. Like, he thought it was the coolest thing and had no idea he was making a complete fool of himself. It was like camp in the good way, where they don't know that it's campy.
Like, if I found out 2 days from now the whole thing was a hoax, I would not be surprised.
Right. It was that unbelievable. If you haven't watched it yet, go seek it out, find it. It'll be worth your 10 minutes, trust me.
Or just email cow@intellivision.com.
Yeah. With the subject line, groovy.
Groovy.
All right, well, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching. Anything else to say, Dave?
Nah. No, I think we need to get in just one more groovy as a closing statement, and then I'm good. I'm out.
Groovy.
Groovy.
There you go. You got it.
All right. See you guys later.